Hello to everyone. We have now finished our first skelly. So I thought I'd zoom out and show you all of them together so you can see how he looks. And I'm going to move on to this skelly now. And having finished this one, I've decided I'm going to go around the edge of everything first for this guy with a single strand, and then fill in with 2 strands everything except for the kind of tiny detail, so the hands and the teeth and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to zoom in now and start stitching. So I ended up doing a sort of stem stitch around the rounder parts of the bone at the top, and that seemed to go quite well. So I might have a go at stem stitching some of the curved lines on the ribs and see how I get on. So this is working pretty well. These slightly bigger stitches were a little bit too big, I think. So this row of slightly shorter stitches has gone well though. So I've got an idea of what's a good length of stitch for this. And I'm getting a very nice curved line from it, so I think I will continue to use stem stitch on a lot of this skelly, and maybe I'll do the last one with back stitch, just so we can compare what we're getting some good edges with. So I shall continue with this now and be back in a mo. Right, so I've outlined all of the rib cage now. We've got Nuka here. What? You want to come and sniff? Nuka says hi with her nose. And Snoo says hi with his voice. So I've outlined all of the rib cage now with the stem stitch. Anywhere that I thought the detailing was kind of too small to get in there with a double strand, after I've finished the outline, I just kind of filled in just with sort of satin stitch, long and short. But having a look now, I think we've got some quite nice sharp lines, maybe sharper than we got up here. If I just move this into focus. We didn't have, thanks Nuka, we didn't have, I'm being sniffed because I'm talking. You want to say hi? Okay, Nuka says hi. Yes, anyway, dogs aside. So yeah, this skeleton's not as kind of tight on the edges and the details as our friend here. I did kind of make this almost too neat, this rib cage, when I was designing the pattern, before kind of going, you know what, I like the sketchy look. So I think this lends pretty well to the just kind of going in and satin stitching everything. And it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how sharp we get our edges with this. So I am going to finish off our arm and come back when I've filled in all of the detail so that you can compare the two with me, and we can then move on to our guy over here and do a little outline in back stitch. So I'll be very interested to see what comes out the nicest visually. So yeah, see you again in a minute with new. So that's the hand done, and I've done all these tiny fiddly details just in long and short stitch, followed just by some straight stitches for the outline of the glass and a little bit of stem stitch just to get the curve. Apologies, Snoover's seen something he likes. So I'm now going to continue on and do the details on the skull, and then I'm going to fill everything in with 2 strands. So now I've finished all of my outlines and I have my double strand. So I'm going to get on with the filling in. Just straighten that stitch up. And that's it. He's all finished. So, what do you think? I think we've got some very nice straight and broken lines. I think all in all stem stitch has worked out better for getting really perfect lines, but I do still really like this kind of more almost graphic feeling, just kind of raw satin stitch. And if I zoom out, you can see all of the detail and how kind of neat and straight we have all of the lines, whereas with this guy just a little bit more rough and ready. And this is the bone that was all done with a single strand, and even here you can see where all the satin stitch, where all of the stitches end in comparison to here where we've got our stem stitch and everything's looking a lot more kind of neat and unified. So in terms of time taken, this was definitely more time consuming. I think at least 80% of the time was spent outlining, and then filling in with a double strand, definitely a big time saver, and that took a couple of hours in comparison to a fair few days of coming backwards and forwards and outlining when I had time. They both look pretty good in terms of neatness. If you're after a really crisp line, you can see on the skull here, very neat, whereas we're a little bit choppier, a little bit more sort of graphic and stitchy. So it depends on the style you're going for really, and time constraints. Double strand, you can really see your thread, but it saves a lot of time. And I've done a lot of the detailing on the face here was done with a single strand. All of this area, all around the eyes, and then this up here is double strand, this down here is double strand. So there's not a big difference. You can't really see the areas specifically. So definitely worth double stranding up. I did, as you've seen from the video, separate my strands with my needle. And this is just because when your strands twist, it doesn't lay anywhere near as flat, and I found I end up kind of going over areas and getting them quite bulky. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's still much quicker to use a double strand and to make sure that your thread isn't twisted as you make your stitches than it is, I think, to just use a single strand and go at it. So I am pretty dang happy with how both of these have turned out. And our third skelly over here, I'm going to backstitch all of the outline so that we can compare the three methods. So looking forward to that, but for now, bye bye from me, bye bye from the Skellies.